Thank you for choosing Community Learning Curriculum for your classroom. Welcome to the Cookie Jar Mystery. Lesson 10, Crack the Code, DNA. To make the most of this lesson, it is recommended that you read your instructor's guide and thoroughly prepare before leading this activity with the group. Before beginning, get familiar with the materials that you will use in this activity. In this lesson, students will learn what DNA is and what role it plays in forensic science. Follow a procedure to extract DNA from a strawberry and analyze and compare the DNA samples of the suspects to the DNA found at the crime scene. Activity 1. Strawberry DNA Extraction. Begin by making the DNA extraction liquid. Mix 80 milliliters, or approximately a third of a cup, of water with 1 tablespoon of dish liquid and a half a teaspoon of table salt. Next, place 2 strawberries in a plastic bag. If fresh strawberries are not available, frozen strawberries will work just fine. Add the extraction liquid and seal tightly, removing any air from the bag. Use your hands to mash the berries inside of the bag. Make sure there are no large pieces remaining. After the students have completed mashing the berries, they will need to set this bag aside for at least 5 minutes before proceeding to the next step. Next, the students will create a strainer by placing a coffee filter in a plastic cup. Hold the filter firmly around the rim of the cup and pour the contents of the plastic bag slowly into the strainer. Carefully gather the top edges of the filter together. Gently squeeze out any additional liquid that you can obtain. At this point, you can throw the filter into the trash and clean your hands. Instructors will need to come around and add 1 teaspoon of very cold isopropyl alcohol to the cup. Do not stir the mixture at this point. The DNA will clump together and rise to the top. The extracted DNA will look like a cloudy white substance in the top layer of your cup. Gently use a wooden splint to lift the DNA out of the cup. Activity 2. Looking at patterns in the suspect's DNA. Enzymes are special proteins that cut DNA. In this activity, you will simulate using an enzyme that cuts the DNA every time it reads the code CCGA. The students will first need to circle this code wherever they see it in the DNA strand. Whenever it sees this code, this enzyme will cut the DNA between the G and the A. This is simulated by making a pencil line. Finally, students will count the nucleotides between each cut mark. The DNA is then separated by size. The smaller, lighter cuts of DNA travel farther than the larger pieces. To separate your DNA strands, shade in the boxes that match the length of the cut DNA code. Compare the suspect's DNA to the crime scene DNA. Thank you for watching Cookie Jar Mystery, Lesson 10. For any questions, please consult our website at www.comlearning.com.